From pain to purpose, our Bloom Health Club guest today is bringing together world leaders who use cutting-edge science to help you hack your health. Bloom Health Club starts now.
From the Stream Center, welcome to Bloom Health Club, sponsored by Monticciolo Family and Sedation Dentistry.
Health Club, I'm your host, Gayle Guyardo. Like many people who reach their mid-40s, Robin Switzer was sick and tired of being sick and tired. So she decided to take her health into her own hands. She switched to a ketogenic diet, lost a lot of weight, and along the way, she realized there are science-based ways to heal that most people don't even know about. That's why she's bringing 70 world leaders together for Hack Your Health 2025. Robin, welcome to Bloom Health Club.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So Robin, tell me a little bit about your personal journey that helped you heal and then be so inspired that you decided to help others do the same.
Well, I struggled with my health for a really, really long time, probably, like you said, into my 40s. I had insulin resistance. I struggled with some food addiction, depression, and all of these things were related to my diet, but I didn't know that. So over the years, I would go get blood work done. My blood sugar was high, but nobody ever said anything to me. My A1C was high. No one ever said anything to me. But I did, through trial and error, and I'm very stubborn, so I just never give up. Mm-hmm. And through my determination to lose weight, I actually discovered what was wrong and worked to fix it. So I first discovered the low-carb diet, and then eventually discovered the ketogenic diet. And once I started the ketogenic diet, all these different things that were going on with my body started to heal. And it took a long time, but it made me excited about my health and getting better, and knowing that I was eventually, going to be 50, 60 and so forth. I wanted to age well. So it just gave me a whole new perspective on what I wanted to do with my life. At the time, I was a banker. I was working in corporate banking and wasn't very happy. I was stressed out to the max. And so I'd made the decision that I was going to jump the corporate ship somehow and figure out a way to translate all these skills that I had in sales management effectively and do something different with my life. And I discovered a startup that was trying to build a ketogenic, we called it the Keto Empire. And I left my career in banking and started working with them. And so we decided our first event, we were going to do a live event because we had all these social media channels and we had YouTube and all these different things going on. We decided to do a live event to bring all these people together because this was in 2017. People felt very alone in that part of their journey. When you went to a restaurant in 2017, if you ordered a burger without a bun, people looked at you sideways.
Right.
So anyway, we decided to do this first event in 2017, and that was KetoCon, the Science and Stories of Keto in Austin, Texas. And we kept on doing the event year after year after year. And when COVID happened, we had to make some changes. The person that I was working with decided to leave the business. I took over and waited until, live events were allowed again. And when we came back, I decided to rebrand to Hack Your Health, because I wanted to incorporate all these other things that I was learning about wellness into this event so I could bring more people and bring more companies and just continue to build it.
I love it. Okay, so now, but as of now, though, the event itself has really grown. It's not just about living a life in ketosis. And is that what you do now? Are you still strictly on a keto diet?
I am not.
Okay, but that was your journey to help you heal.
Exactly.
Okay, so you leave corporate America, you start this event. When did it morph into how to biohack yourself?
I would say when we came back from lockdown in 2022.
Okay.
So we couldn't do the event in 2020. We couldn't do the event in 2021. But
you should have come here to Florida. We were doing all kinds of stuff. Oh,
so the event was in Austin, but I live here.
Right.
But so when we came back in 2022, it was so exciting to be back at a live event again, because these events just when you walk into an event like this, and it's thousands of people, and everybody's there for something positive, it's a very positive experience, uplifting. You feel the energy when you walk in the door. So when we came back in 2022, that's what we all felt again, and we're so excited about it. But then I also realized that there's so much more for us to talk about other than diet. And there were a lot of people that were leveraging ketosis without actually going on a ketogenic diet. So they were using intermittent fasting, they were using low carb diets, they were using exercise and all these different modalities to kind of get to the same place. So that's when we decided, we need to rebrand. And I'm not a big company, so it's a small business. My son runs the business with me. He manages the exhibitor sales, and we were on a road trip to go visit somebody in North Carolina together. My son and daughter-in-law were in the front seat. I was in the back seat with my granddaughter, and we were brainstorming, what can we call this event? Ryan came up with Hack Your Health. We bought the URL on GoDaddy in the middle of the night, and that's how we landed Hack Your Health.
I love that. I love that. It's so cool. So tell me about some of these world leaders that you're now working with. What kinds of cool things are you finding out about?
There's so much. We could be here all day, but for instance, I really like red light therapy. Mm-hmm. It's really good for your skin. It's good for healing. And so I bought a red light panel that I keep on my closet door that I use every night. I find that very beneficial. We don't really have anybody talking about red light therapy. However, we have people talking about things like breath work. So the importance of understanding how to breathe properly and regulate your emotions and your anxiety levels through breath work. That's really important.
I like the breath work because, so many people regulate their emotions with medications. And, I'm not against medications. I know that there's a time and a place, but it does feel like they're very overused. Like there's always a doctor willing to write you a script for something that you might not necessarily need that. I mean, you just don't know until, like you say, you have to really be your own healthcare advocate and find out, what's causing you to be the way that you are and get to the root cause of the problem. Are you working with like functional health doctors? Like who else is part of the equation?
Well, there's 70 different speakers. Actually, there's 72 different speakers. So they're coming from all areas of expertise. So let's see, Dr. Annette Bosworth, she specializes in helping people. She's an internal medicine doctor. She specializes in helping people lose weight and heal through the ketogenic diet and with using intermittent fasting. We have speakers that are focusing on the carnivore diet, which is another way for people to reach ketosis and heal. We have people talking about women's health, peptides. I mean, it's a pretty wide variety with that many speakers.
So talk to me, set the stage. Or is it just like people attend and they just get to absorb all of this information? It'll be how many days, how many speakers per, like how does it work?
It's 3 days.
Okay.
So we run 2 stages. There's a ballroom with our keynote staging area that seats about 1,800 people. And those sessions go every 40 minutes, all day, every day for 3 days. And then we also have a breakout room. And that's where you take like a more deep dive, more intimate conversation. I mean, it's 300 people in the room, but it's a lot less than the ballroom. We also have, in our expo hall, we have things happening where we're doing book signings and cooking demos and fitness classes. So we're running 3 classes a day, yoga, functional movement, breath work. All these things are happening pretty much all at the same time.
Do you think that this is the future of healing? Because I started hosting Bloom more than 5 years ago now. And but when I was in the news industry, I was always trying to bring health stories to the table that weren't always traditional medicine, just giving people alternative ways to heal. And, just like you said, you would order a hamburger without the bun and people would look at you sideways. People would look at me sideways too. But I thought, gosh, there has to be other ways to do this. And now it's become mainstream.
I think it's really wonderful because, people feel empowered especially when they come to an event like this. That's really the purpose, empowering people to take control of their own health, because there's a tremendous amount of information floating around out there, and a lot of it's misinformation. And people feel that they can only trust their physician to make health decisions for them, and they don't feel empowered to make those decisions together. So I really feel like doing things like this event, bringing people where they can learn and experience things that they would not necessarily experience at home, because maybe they're not going to buy a red light panel, or they're not going to buy a cold plunge device, but they can come to an event like this and experience it.
Now, talk to me about your journey. You did say you were able to personally overcome metabolic disease. And you said along the way there were a lot of challenges and misinformation. Like what?
Well, my biggest challenge was that I was really struggling with food addiction. So, I mean, I was raised on a lot of carbs. So recognizing that I really needed to pull those out of my diet and feel empowered enough to be able to actually do it and follow through with it was difficult for me. It was a challenge. But I feel like that, along with misinformation from doctors, like going to get annual blood work done and having a fasting blood sugar of like 120 is dangerous, but no one ever pointed it out to me. So, I mean, those were challenges for me. Also, learning to trust myself was probably the biggest challenge, because once you get past the addictive stuff, then you have to kind of be able to trust that how you feel is a result of what you're putting in your mouth and what you're doing with your lifestyle, and to trust that.
I want to circle back about, how did you, because so many people try so hard to break addiction. But it's so difficult. I mean, like, people are lucky if they can, stay on dry January for a day or two. So how do you break addiction? How were you able to crack that code?
Well, I'm not one of those people that does everything in moderation.
Okay.
So that works for a lot of people, but that's not me. So I had to cut it out of my diet for a really long time. So I was like less than 20 grams of carbohydrates a day. So, I mean, that's like a serving of vegetables. So, but that helped me heal. And then it wasn't as much of a problem. I think that part of the process with healing is all of these things that you're trying to do become a little bit easier. And that gives you kind of like the strength to like keep on doing it another day and another day. And the more time you have under your belt, the easier it becomes. I once told somebody that I was so glad that I chose food as an addictive trait rather than alcohol.
Right. Yeah.
So I've never had a problem with alcohol. I don't drink, but because alcohol is so addictive, and people use it for a crutch, in social situations, I think I would have had a much harder time.
I want to go back and have you clarify something for me. You talked about going to your doctor and getting just a routine blood work done. What did you mean by, like, are you saying that you didn't fast before you had the blood done, or what did you mean by the sugar levels?
So when you get blood work done, they always check your fasting blood sugar.
Okay.
And honestly, I don't remember if I was fasting, but I just remember that my blood sugar was always high. And my A1C was 5.7, 5.9. It's supposed to be below 5.5, 5.4. Okay. So, and I also struggled with really difficult menstrual cycles, and that's all related to insulin resistance.
Interesting. So again, you got the blood sugar levels weren't where they needed to be.
Right.
What did your traditional doctor tell you to do?
Not to worry about it.
Not to worry about it.
They didn't even call it out. Because I'm such a nerd about this stuff, I would go home and look up what all of those different things meant on my blood work to see, what's the optimal level, and I was not in it.
That's interesting. We had Kurt Knudsen, known as Kurt the Cyber Guy, on the show, and he said if you redact things like your name, your birthday, you can put your health information into AI now. And even though you need to cross-check even AI, because that's not always going to be 100% accurate, but that you really can find out a lot about your own health. And as consumers, we really need to do that, because there's so often that good enough really isn't good enough for our health.
Right. And as you get older, staying in the good enough range, once in your 50s and 60s, you start to feel it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. So let's talk about, you had a huge accolade. You were honored as one of the top 20 women in biohacking by MSN. How did that come to be?
Well, that was a huge honor. So the women in that group, those other 19 women, are doing really admirable work. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like I bring people together. I'm good at bringing people together. And so I guess my changing work is that I'm bringing all these people together to be impactful to the communities that show up at the event. But that was a huge honor.
That's amazing. That is, and it's what's really cool is the number of women, because I've talked to a very accomplished surgeon in the Tampa Bay area. Her name is Dr. Sharona Ross, and she's a boss girl when it comes to, training female physicians in robotic surgery. But she also said that women in general, in her opinion, are very healing. I mean, it's kind of part of our nature. Mm-hmm. So it is interesting to see more and more women stepping into this space. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're seeing from your vantage point?
I am I'm seeing a huge increase in women who are coming into this space. And they're very knowledgeable. They're experts in their fields, but they're doing it with heart. Mm-hmm. Their intention is different, and I think you can feel it when you're around them.
I love it. I love it. All right, I want to go to get some real viewer questions your way. We like to get our experts to answer. So we did hear from a woman by the name of Sarah, and she wants to know about the gut microbiome and how that plays into our health.
That's a complicated issue. So, I mean, when I'm not the expert on the gut microbiome.
Okay.
I think that when you remove processed foods from your diet and eat whole foods, restrict your diet to only whole foods, that your microbiome has a chance to heal. And there are dozens of supplements out there to improve your microbiome. I don't take any of them.
You don't?
But I don't. But I eat a really whole food diet. I eat mostly single ingredient foods. So
give me a day in the life. Like, what would you eat? Because you used food to heal yourself.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So what are some of the healing foods? What are some of the things that you do?
Well, I didn't follow the sardine diet.
Yeah. And just to clarify, I had the wonderful opportunity to meet a doctor who had a patient who ate sardines for 100 days, and it actually worked to heal the inflammation in her body. You should only be doing it for 72 hours if you choose to take the sardine challenge. But what did you eat?
I eat. It's nothing sexy and exciting. So I eat things like fish, shrimp, chicken, beef, eggs, cottage cheese. What else is in my refrigerator right now? Lettuce, tomatoes, some fruit, but that's pretty much it. I just don't eat a whole lot of other stuff. And that helped me heal. It also helps me. I sleep better at night. I wake up rested in the morning. I can keep up with 40-year-old women when I'm in my 60s. So it's serving me well.
I love it. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next question. Andy wants to know how to find a holistic and integrated approach to health.
That's a very general question. So,
do you have like a directory of people that you work with? How do you do this research? Because there's a lot of newbies coming into the space.
There are.
And you wonder, like, how are you getting somebody that really knows their stuff?
Mm-hmm. Well, I trust the people that I bring into the event.
Okay.
For the most information. So,
because you do a lot of vetting.
Yeah, I do. There are directories available for like functional medicine doctors.
Okay.
And there are several here in the Tampa Bay area too.
Okay. Do you have anybody that uses like kits or testing or anything like that coming to the convention? Because I know there are these at-home test kits. And the next question, who comes from Teresa, wants to know your thoughts on using home microbiome test kits. But microbiomes are not your area of expertise. But are you finding that more people are testing at home? Because I've seen a big switch in taking your health into your own hands when it comes to screenings of all sorts.
Yes. And there's just so many more available now where you can do that. So yes, I would definitely do that.
Yeah. And what's really interesting too that I have found is that, whether it comes from new ways to screen your breasts, to new bone scans, I think what's happening is we're seeing a shift away from people leaning on insurance to get tested to people just paying out of pocket. And because more and more people are doing that, the cost has come down significantly. Sometimes it's cheaper to when you go to get a screening to do it uninsured versus insured, to ask about the rates because the rates could be cheaper.
Right.
So, I think the name of and a lot of times the testing for things like a bone scan is until you're 65 years old. You really don't want to wait that long to find out if something's going on with your bones. Did you have any issues with that?
I haven't. I've been tested and everything's fine.
And you're okay?
So, yeah. I
Okay.
haven't had
All
any
right.
problems.
Let's see. Okay. And then David wants to know if it's true that there's a lack of registered dietitians. Do you work with them at your conventions? Do you bring them in?
At times, yes. I don't think that there's a lack of registered dietitians.
Do you support working with one? Because people don't understand what to eat.
Yes, I do. But I also, I think it depends on where you are in your health journey and what changes you're willing to make. And, sometimes just cutting out the processed stuff is the best place to start.
So you don't have to really spend money out of pocket. Unless you maybe have like specific needs or allergies or food sensitivities, things like that.
Or you have a chronic, some kind of critical or chronic condition.
Right. But for you, it all started to change by just eating whole foods and, getting rid of anything processed or ultra processed.
Yeah.
I love it. How much weight did you lose?
I was at my heaviest around 187 pounds and I weigh 115.
That's incredible. How long did it take you to go on this journey?
It took a long time.
It did.
I'm so stubborn.
It didn't happen overnight.
No, none of this happens overnight. You can make changes, and you can feel the positive effects of it, and that gives you the strength to carry it on and on. But the super fast changes usually don't last.
But you must feel better today than you did back in your 40s when you started this journey.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because I always try to share that, with our Bloom Health Club viewers is that, I'm getting ready to turn 59 years old. And because of listening to the experts, many of which that you brought onto our globally syndicated show, Bloom, you get enough of this knowledge and you start applying it to your life. And I would say I feel better today than I did in my 30s,
right?
Especially my 40s. That's when things were really circling the drain. And so, it definitely makes a difference. When is the conference?
It's November 14th, 15th, and 16th.
Okay,
at the
great.
Tampa Convention Center.
And do you take this all over the country or do you do it once a year?
I do it once a year. I would like to potentially do another event a year, but it really takes me all year long to put all of this together.
Yeah. These events, I just attended one in Phoenix, Arizona. They are jammed. It's like a Broadway production. It really is. There are a lot of moving parts. But hey, listen, how do people find you?
Find me personally, mostly through the event.
Okay.
So the event is hackyourhealth.com. We are Hack Your Health Events on social media. I am Robin Switzer on social media, but I'm not really that active personally. It's mostly the work through the event.
All right, Robin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, you can watch our streaming show, Bloom Health Club, on Apple TV, Fire TV, Roku, Samsung TV, WFLA.com, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And of course, thank you to Monticciolo Family and Sedation Dentistry for believing in us so that we can get this kind of information to our viewers and our listeners. I'll see you on the next Bloom Health Club.